So y'all, today we're gonna be learning more Kirby lore by reacting to, attempting to explain more Kirby lore in a single video by the RPG Monger. And guys, that last video absolutely blew my mind. From Zero, Galactic Nova, Meta Knight, Marks, the dang on agents. And I finally kind of know why Kirby is so powerful. And probably the most craziest thing we learned is that the Kirby we know and love could have also been something evil and dark, aka Void, who's just like Kirby, just evil and dark, bro. And today we're gonna be continuing our Kirby journey. I'm gonna need you guys to get this video to 140 likes for more Nintendo and Kirby videos. And also let me know what you guys want to react to next. Whether it's another Nintendo series or just Kirby or even Smash Bros. But hold on, y'all, before we start,
The lights gotta go down, bro.
Bop, let's get it, y'all. Warning, this video contains spoilers for all recent Kirby games. Hey, it's all good, bro. We gonna play them, but at least it ain't spoiling gameplay. That's all that don't matter, bro. Great. Great.
All right. But before that, there's actually one key thing I wasn't aware of when I made my first Kirby lore video.
What's
the
up?
occasional unreliability of English localization. More
Dang!
specifically in the most recent games, where the localization from Japanese to English sadly led to some key changes in the text of pause screen lore.
What? Wait, so you mean to tell me the English version is missing some things that were in the original, aka the Japanese version, because the way they translated it?
Due to the struggle of fitting said translations into the limited space and pause screen.
Oh, so they couldn't do it because the screen was too small.
Got you. Where the most notable change, in my opinion, was the removal of a line in Galactic Knight's lore. Said removal clarifying that throughout various eras, he's been continuously sealed away again and again, each time avoiding destruction.
They don't like him.
It's Star Allies that bore the brunt of these, where certain changes would go on to both completely change certain descriptions or alter them for the worse. Again, I'm not going to cover all of them, but to touch on the ones relating to the most important parts of Kirby lore, let me first correct the part about Susie. As opposed to what the English description says, she actually isn't continuing Haltman's work of mechanizing planets. Instead, she's using their advanced technology to aid others and stop any evildoers. Always thought it was a bit weird that the game said she resumed mechanization after—
So she ain't continuing her father's work, she actually using the resources and his equipment to freaking save nigga. Gotcha.
Everything that happened. Then with Void and a certain night everyone loves, a fair amount got lost in translation.
I love that way.
For instance, a line that got removed entirely for Void implies that it's made up of 4 core forces in the Kirby universe combined into all chaos and possibilities: Dream, Dark, Soul, and Heart. While you could take that at face value and say those are meant to be literal elements, I feel they're meant to be more abstract forces. Regardless, it definitely alludes to these forces being behind quite a few things we've seen in Kirby thus far, so I'll be referring to them as Chaos from here on out.
So basically, Star Dream is not made of Soul Dream and Heart or Dark anymore, but instead it's created from Chaos. Gotcha. That's what I got from that. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Let me know.
Thus far, so I'll be referring to them as Chaos from here on out. Trust me, this will be relevant later.
Made a Chaos.
Next, with Morpho Knight, its lore would sadly suffer the most from localization, and with quite a few important details being left behind. Namely, that Morpho Knight appeared due to Galactic Knight's screams of the many years spent living, which to me sounds like Morpho Knight showed up out of pity for the Knight. After all, it's been established that for untold eons after being sealed away, the Knight's very existence has been diminished to endless imprisonment with sporadic battles happening in between when—
Hey, Jill! Nah, I know they ain't got my nigga! They got my nigga! In jail! F that, dog. We gonna break them out. Y'all ain't getting away with this.
Has been diminished to endless imprisonment with sporadic battles happening in between whenever someone happens to summon him. He clearly resents this too, as shown when without hesitation, Galactic Knight destroyed Star Dream mere moments after it summoned him. So with—
he don't even like being out of jail! Every time they film hell break loose, you might as well throw away the key!
Mere moments after it summoned him. So with seemingly no real escape from his eternal fate, it only makes sense that the most powerful warrior in the galaxy wishes to be freed from this horrible cycle, the butterfly granting his wish by annihilating Galactic Knight and absorbing his power. We're starting off heavy with this video. Then in another bit of pause lore that got cut in localization, there's a line that reveals the butterfly is capable of traveling between dimensions. Considering recent butterfly granting his wish by annihilating Galactic Knight and absorbing his power.
Bro, imagine getting killed by a butterfly.
This video.
Facts!
Then in another bit of pause lore that got cut in localization, there's a line that reveals the butterfly is fully capable of traveling between dimensions. Considering recent events clans, this tidbit is more important than ever, but that'll have to wait. Translation mishaps aside, Kirby and the Forgotten Land isn't the only Kirby game to be released in the past 3 years. In the gap between Star Allies and Forgotten Land, there were 2 minor spin-off
Kirby Fighter
titles
2
that
and
both
Kirby
came
Dash.
with some pretty notable
Clash,
details. In Super Kirby Clash, I'd approach this game like you would many of mainline Kirby's extra modes, where despite not being canon, there's information inside that illuminates some things in the main universe.
They jumping?
Well, things singular in this case, because at the very end of Super Kirby Clash's campaign, Galactic Knight shows up. And instead of the usual shtick of his lore further emphasizing how powerful he is, and how he got sealed away, this is probably the craziest information dropped about him so far. You see,
Dog really just dropped 4 people just by using the sweat that got off his body onto his sword. He gotta go!
Probably the craziest information dropped about him so far. You see, rather than being called Galactic Knight here, this game refers to him by the all-new name of Eon Hero. An insignificant, if strange change at first glance, that when paired with the fact that this new Galactic Knight fight has him attacking you with heart spears, all but confirms that Galactic Knight was one of the 4 heroes that originally sealed the Void Termina's Jamba Heart away. It definitely adds credence to him resenting being sealed away, as this confirms he went from saving the galaxy to being imprisoned out of fear. Though then in Kirby Fighters 2, this game for the most part doesn't have much importance. Dubious canonicity aside, the one thing worth mentioning here is we Shadow.
Hold on, Kirby and Nick! Hey, he looking like a YN! The real Kirby got his hammer out because he know dog is too dangerous for the economic galactic ISO invertebrate economy of the universe.
Prank on Kirby, it's good confirmation that the mirror world is still safe.
Whoa!
After that, I guess the masks DDD and Meta Knight used to power up could have importance down the line, but there's nothing that points to that right now.
Oh, he
So with
gangbanging.
all that taken care of, let's get into the real meat of the video. When it comes to the lore of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, a lot has changed from how the previous entries handled lore. And I'm not just talking about how lore is now contained in gacha figures either. Like how Star Allies heavily implied that Kirby and Void are 2 sides of the same coin, one being born of positive energy and the other of negative
They basically
energy.
twins!
Forgotten Land comes in with even more implications like that. There's some hard facts here and there,
Got a
don't
jetpack.
misunderstand me. It's just the sheer amount of implications here outweigh them by a lot.
So basically Kirby 85 now.
How at multiple points it's shown that time there runs significantly faster than that of Kirby's.
You can tell he's growing a
It's
beard.
the most reasonable explanation considering everything else we learn. As even with Kirby getting sucked in around the same time as everyone else, he clearly arrived much later than them all due to him struggling against the portals for a few extra Popstar seconds. Or the fact that despite Elflin coming back to Kirby near immediately after disappearing at the end, later he says that Clawline had to nurse him back to health after he separated the 2 worlds. Meaning from the perspective of anyone left on Popstar, Kirby was probably gone for barely any time at all. In turn, while I'll do my best,
Kirby was stranded in the middle of nowhere, getting beat on. It wasn't gone long enough for nobody to even notice. That's crazy, bro. I would have killed everybody on that planet. Everybody getting sucked up.
To make everything as concise as possible, this means I will have to delve a bit more into theory territory than normal, as there's really no way to avoid it. Luckily, many of said theories do have substantial evidence, like that whole alternate dimension business.
Dude, trust me.
Though before that, let's start with the things we know for sure. If you notice,
They got a noggin on him. Head so big, he been born with a DLC pack and an encyclopedia installed.
Referring to direct
Bro,
translations of the Japanese text, not what we got in the localized game, since sadly, like those mentioned before, bits and pieces were lost in translation.
Wait, that's Meta Knight. Was that Meta Knight? Hold on, that ain't no Meta Knight in it.
But that's because I'm referring to direct translations of the Japanese text, not what we got in the localized game, since sadly, like those mentioned before, bits and pieces were lost in translation. Long before portals opened up above Popstar and sucked its inhabitants into the Forgotten Land, there was a civilization.
My bad, your mom called me, hold on.
Civilization much like our own. At the time, its inhabitants were struggling with the ever-looming crisis of overpopulation, their world becoming too small for their civilization.
I need to stop clapping!
And then, out of nowhere, came the ultimate life form, Fecto Elfilus, an all-powerful alien creature that's made its sole purpose.
Vecto Elifus? How you say Elfis? Bro, how did he say? Hold on, y'all
life form Fecto Elfilus, an all-powerful alien creature that's made its sole purpose to violently conquer world after world. However, against the odds, the people of that world managed to put a stop to Elfilus's invasion by capturing
he got hit
the
with
alien.
an 18-wheeler.
With the crisis averted, they then begin to study its powers and lab
What the freak is this? Well, goddamn, you know what's going on in that jail. He tooted up as we speak.
However, against the odds, the people of that world managed to put a stop to
Bro, how you get hit with an 18-wheeler? Bro, I don't think y'all understand how much you gotta hate somebody to throw an 18-wheeler at their ass. Like, y'all, I ain't never seen in my entire life a villain get an 18 like a truck thrown at him. That's crazy.
Elphalus's invasion.
Look, bro,
by capturing the
help me,
alien.
please.
With the crisis averted, they
Hey,
then
getting
began to
clapped.
study its powers in Lab Discovera, turning its fantastical abilities into technology beyond their wildest
Right.
dreams.
And they
Most
use this
importantly, replicating the method they used to get there in the first place
Using to make
by
a TV.
recreating its ability to warp anywhere, whether it be from one location to the other or even to another dimension
What?
entirely. Although, while experimenting with said warp
Oh,
technology,
yeah.
Fecto Elphalus would be split into two creatures,
Oh,
one
look at
holding
the-
the small amount of
Aw.
compassion buried within them, and the other holding their invasive malicious tendencies.
Oh, yeah?
Once split, the newly created Elphalin would escape Lab Discovera altogether,
Huh?
never to be found by the civilization again.
Wait. So they got rid of him, and he came back with an even bigger head than he had before, then escaped, and they don't know where he at. Bro, they could have put an air tag in the butt crack of his forehead. They ain't thinking, bro.
As if Elphalus wasn't in a bad situation before, now that they're fractured, the eternal capsule that
Alice
served
the
as its
Lion?
prison had become its life support.
What?
Because in this larval state, they physically can't survive outside the capsule without copious amounts of energy.
got dreads.
Thus, once they'd used
he
up
gon-
their invader completely and became a highly advanced technological civilization, the solution to their woes had become perfectly clear. Use their
using
newfound
slaves.
warp technology to leave their cramped planet behind altogether. Their
Listen,
destination
we out.
being pretty obvious if you've noticed certain parallels to other aspects of Kirby lore.
Oh, so they're basically a parallel of the ancients.
Next round of major implications. A bit more clear-cut compared to later ones,
Okay.
in Possessed
Give us some
Leongar's pre-fight speech, there's one line in particular that brings with it one of the biggest revelations
That's
in
a
Kirby
perk right
so
there, yeah.
far. As when he says that the Forgotten Land's inhabitants left for a land of dreams, just what other location does that sound like?
Dreamland?
That's right, the very place Kirby calls home, Dreamland.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, this could also mean Kirby's universe at large and not specifically Dreamland, but there's definitely evidence that these people were here at some point. Because after abandoning both their planet and dimension, this civilization would go on to become the enigmatic ancients we've come
What?
to know all too well from
Wow, I
many years worth of
knew it! I told y'all, bro. I told y'all. It made too much sense, bro, because they literally travel to different dimensions. All right, let's continue this.
Or, more specifically, the scientific ancients,
Look,
as the magical
the
ones
scientific-
were probably
okay.
already in this universe when
Yeah.
they arrived. Need more proof?
What's
Just
up?
look at all the technology associated with the scientific ancients. Many probably made with the magical ancients during their period of friendship. There's the Lore Starcutter for one, which specializes in interdimensional travel. Ships like it most likely serve to take the scientific
And they all have the same logo, aka the star. Y'all, everything makes sense. Look.
ancients to Kirby's dimension in the first place. And who can forget the Clockwork Stars? Alongside it being shown that many of the wishes they grant involve the use of opening portals to other worlds or dimensions, don't their cores look like a certain someone?
Yes!
It may just be me, but the shape of Fecto Forgo's head in that capsule looks a bit too similar to the cores of Clockwork Stars to be a coincidence.
do.
This means that with this major reveal of the scientific ancients' origins, we now know Halcandra wasn't their homeworld. It was one of possibly many places they called home after leaving their original dimension.
That's
Alongside
insane.
Halcandra, even Shiverstar could have been their home for some time. The abandoned civilization on that planet does bear many striking similarities to what we've seen in Forgotten Land. However, as the world could just be the Kirby Dimensions version of the ancients' old home, there's an equal chance its inhabitants were entirely separate. It'd be pretty
so
funny if
similar.
they recreated their original planet only to screw it up all over again.
They gotta be littering, bro, because there's no way you can F up Earth twice. Somebody been on drugs, bro. Because ain't no way you really, when you had a second chance, no way,
I'll
bro.
stop there to refrain from sprinkling in too many crazy headcanons. Back in the
What?
Forgotten Lands dimension, Fecto Forgo remained confined for eons.
Dang.
So long, in fact, that the fauna left behind
Wait.
on the world would
I
eventually
thought it
evolve
meant
to a
him.
point
I'm
of
like-
intelligence. Using
Okay.
this to their advantage, Fecto Forgo would slowly but surely spread its will over the
Oh,
planet from within
shoot.
their psychic dream dimension. While
We
gradually
can do that!
gaining influence over all life on the planet, they'd managed to directly take control of a prominent animal
Leon,
named Leon when he
Leon.
discovered Fecto Forgo.
Look!
Then, using Leon's famous
Do
status
you
from
know how powerful powerful he has to be. Guys, he might low-key be the strongest villain Kirby has ever faced, bro. Y'all, look at this.
Leon when he discovered Fecto Forgo. Then,
bro,
using Leon's
he's so powerful that his influence came with a BBL.
Control of a prominent animal named Leon when he discovered Fecto Forgo. Then, using Leon's famous status among the peaceful animals of the world to rally them under the plots of Forgo, Leon would become Leongar, and the Beast Pack was formed. Through Leongar, this is when the Beast Pack would begin searching the planet all over for Elfilin, along with gathering food and the recently transported residents of Popstar to provide the energy Fecto Forgo needed to exist outside the capsule, which finally is where the events of Kirby and the Forgotten Land actually start. Since while Fecto Forgo still had the power to open up portals between dimensions, the fractured state significantly destabilized the power, leading to portals seemingly opening up at random like they did in the beginning of the game. In the mere moments that Kirby struggled against the pull of the portals, Elfilin and the Waddle Dees would establish their village far away from the Beast Pack's usual operations. Meta Knight
by the way, thank y'all for letting me know that that's not actually Link's hat or sword, but it's actually like a reference, like a homage to Link. And you guys also told me that he wears a cap similar to Nessus, and then he wears Ryu's headband. And for someone like me that's actually just getting into these series, bro, it actually feels mind-blowing to see how this series references this series, or how this one does this one. It's so cool, bro. I'm not gonna, that was dope. I low-key thought Link UPS his sword to Kirby, just to help him bam.
Like village far away from struggled against the pull of the portals, Elfilin and the Waddle Dees would establish their village far away from the Beast Pack's usual operations. Meta Knight would take to defending them, all the while resisting Forgo's influence, and DDD would... Well... He's resisting, so defending them, all the while resisting Forgo's influence. Yeah, so he's the hero! Would... Well, fail at resisting, to say the least. Of course. Seriously, this has to be the most extensive backstory to the events of a Kirby game yet. Don't worry, there's still more to cover.
Is way
jumping ahead to after Fecto Elfilis's initial defeat at the hands of Kirby and Elfilin, merely destroying the ultimate life form's corporeal body wasn't enough to fully defeat it.
He got hit with a McDonald's truck.
As an incorporeal entity sustained by their own incredible psychic powers, Forgo retreated to their dream dimension. There, they'd begin to once again plan their return, despite being in an even weaker state than before.
Are y'all serious, fam? Y'all really still trying to bring dude back? Y'all done lost twice! Leave it alone! Y'all, if I was Kirby, F the gun, bro. Get a new... Everybody gotta die.
To be had being the fact that they could use Leon's body as their own. So getting rid of Leon's soul and smashing it to pieces for good measure, Forgo began to create an army of stronger doppelgangers from the residual psychic energy left over from Forgo influencing the entire planet, which
they got rid of their spirits and took over their bodies. Y'all like the whole
stage
game.
For the real important thing coming up, where all the backstory surrounding the ancients and Elfilis was pretty significant. Equally so is the second appearance of Morpho Knight. Unlike its introduction in the what-if mode of Star Allies, this marks its first appearance in the canon timeline.
It's in the canon.
This is incredibly monumental for several reasons. Not only is this the first time ever that a fight originating in Kirby's what-if scenarios made the transition over to being 100% canon, it also raises even more questions about Morpho Knight itself. For one, while Hal was definitely alluding to Morpho Knight eventually crossing over into the canon universe before, I did not expect it to happen so soon.
So Morpho Knight was supposed to cross over from the very beginning. Like it was always planned that Morpho Knight would find a way to get there. They just did not know when.
Still an incredibly mysterious entity, but we do still learn some interesting details. Namely, its appearance right before Fecto Forgo's soul was about to fight Kirby reinforces Morpho Knight's nature of reaping all-powerful characters that have lived unnaturally long. As much like Galactic Knight before it, Fecto Forgo has also been trapped for an unimaginable amount of time.
So he waited until he was about to be summoned. Morpho Knight waited. Then came back when he said, oh shoot, somebody strong here. Dog said F-Zero, Galactic Nova, I ain't scared of that bitch. The f is a Star Dream. King Dedede, I'll chop off his wee-wee-wee. Marks? I'm going back to sleep. Wait a minute, I want a threat get here, man. He see nobody else.
Surviving due to his sheer power. But it could also be as simple as Morpho Knight absorbing him solely due to his power, like the gacha lore states. When it comes to Morpho Knight this time, it's actually what happens after you fight him that brings out a lot of very important illusions. Like how when you beat him, rather than only dissipating back into butterflies, Fecto Forgo manages to escape. And before we get to all of what comes next, this confirms a pretty massive thing. You see, when Morpho Knight was first defeated in Star
Y'all,
Ally
he escaped.
important illusions, like
fight
how
both
when you
of them at
beat
the same
him,
time?
rather than only dissipating back into butterflies, Fecto Forgo
Kirby
manages
is
to
him.
escape.
Look,
and
he
before we
escaped.
get to all of what comes next, this confirms a pretty massive detail. You see, when Morpho Knight was first defeated in Star Allies, there was no such animation for Galactic Knight escaping, which leads me to believe that all this time, Morpho Knight still holds Galactic Knight within them. In a weird roundabout way, this means Galactic Knights entered the canon.
So you mean to tell me that the Galactic Knight and Morpho Knight basically are fused? He feels like he has Galactic Knight's power. So basically, Morpho Knight has some of the strongest entities inside of him. Yeah, Kirby the GOAT, bro. Kirby just beat his 6th god, bro. 6 or
Universe
7.
2. Now this is stepping a bit
6 or
into
7
theory
guys.
territory here, but all the signs point
Look.
to this. After all, with it
He
being
got a
shown
box
that
TV
Morpho
on his
Knight
head.
still has many of Galactic Knight's attacks, this makes it incredibly likely that the supposed strongest warrior in the galaxy could be inches away from making his first canon appearance. We'll just have to see what awaits us with what's sure to be plenty of future Morpho Knight fights. On a side note, I do wonder if, like Morpho Knight, there's only one Galactic Knight that can—
So he's not even the strongest in the universe. There's somebody better. We gotta get into these games. We gonna play these games, bro. This is insane. Bro, I am mind blown.
Summoned from across dimensions. Because if that isn't the case, there could now be 2 Galactic Knights in Kirby, the one absorbed by Morpho Knight and the as of yet unseen one in the canon universe. But that's a headache for another day. Going back to Fecto Elphalus's last shot at revenge, we're met with this game's soul boss equivalent, Chaos Elphalus. Having pulled the reverse Morpho Knight and taken some energy from it for a change, the simple fact that it's now called Chaos Elphalus hints at Morpho Knight's very origin. Again, stepping a bit back into crackpot theories here, remember all that stuff about Chaos from earlier? Alongside its components consisting of things that are all pretty important in Kirby, it's said to be the very origin of Void itself. Well, considering that Chaos Elphalus only received the Chaos part of its name after taking some of Morpho Knight's power, that leads me to believe that Morpho Knight is either linked or straight up comes from this mysterious all-encompassing force. Like many soul bosses,
so you mean to tell me that Chaos, the being that's said to be Kirby if he was never good, if he was born evil, made Morpho Knight? What? This is insane.
Chaos Elphalus makes use of various attacks we've seen past soul fights utilize. For a long time, I always thought it was just some fan service on Hal's part, nothing more. However, seeing that it only received set attacks after taking on the power of Chaos, that leads me to believe that every soul fight until now has had some sort of connection to Chaos.
He's throwing big
After
balls.
all, one of the things stated to make up Chaos in the first place is Soul. As it stands, we don't have enough puzzle pieces here to fully predict what this entails, but I'm certain that this is building up to something unbelievably immense. So after putting Elphalus's eons of struggling to an end,
he's dead.
Kirby's power of miracles allowed the entity one last chance at rebirth. Thus, with Elphalus willingly rejoining with Elphalin to become whole for good, that just about wraps up all the new lore there is.
Dang, ain't finished your other ear? At this point, Mike Tyson must have bought up that.
As minor as it is, during the final battle, Elphalus does share one attack with another boss before the whole Chaos thing happens. Just like Void Terminus' third phase, he also dives toward you, dragging a weapon across the ground. Not to mention, in Elphalus's theme, there's a portion that features a very similar organ progression to that of Void Terminus' third phase too. You could easily chalk the two up to coincidence, but I felt it was at least worth mentioning here at the end. It is similar. How, in spite of how much of the Forgotten Land is shown, we never get a glimpse of what the scientific ancients might have looked like.
That scared me. So we don't know how the scientific ancients look yet, but we know how Malgor look. Malgor is an ancient, so we really still don't know how they look.
Taking context clues and the cardboard cutout in Wandaria into consideration, I think it's safe to say they were humans or something resembling them at least. Adelaide's got some splaining to do.
Yeah,
so
she might be an ancient.
Another video of me and
she might be an ancient of an ancient. Like what is it called, bro? She might be a descendant or something like that. I don't know.
Constantly rambling about Kirby lore.
That was amazing.
Finished that strawberry shortcake from last time. So how about a Kirby burger?
Let's get the burger then. Hey, y'all get y'all burger. I get my burger. Y'all wanna go get it right now? Hey, pretend I'm giving you a coupon, okay? I'm acting like I'm giving you a piece of paper. Take it, okay? You ready? Here's your coupon for your Kirby burger. Yep, there you go. Yep. Hey, don't eat it all at once. Save some for later, okay? Okay. Thank you, bro. The RPG Monger, I love you, fam. I know we ain't ever meet, but bro, I love your videos. I love this series was amazing. Well, guys, look at we finished the RPG Monger's Kirby Lore series. I'm not gonna sit there and lie to y'all. This video had me even more shocked than the first one. Like, bro, I was here out my seat. Bro, who would have thought that Kirby was literally this dark fella? This is insane. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm interested in seeing what happens next, bro, either with the games or freaking reacting to more videos. And what I want you guys to do for me is comment down below which Nintendo series, lore, or whatever I should react to next. And also remember to get this video to 140 likes for more Kirby and Nintendo videos. And if you guys enjoyed watching me react to this video as much as I enjoyed making it, make sure to go to smash the like button and subscribe to join the Keep It Master family. I love you guys. Let's shine out. May Jesus be your guide and key.
But I know y'all dead wrong. Thank Jesus I'm headstrong. I ain't never left every day. I've been at it. All I ever needed was some time to figure out mine. Get out of my